Hey Troopers, it is the 501st Com Chatter here with your hosts Will and
Chloe.
how are we doing, guys? Hope you're doing good. As you can see, a little bit of normality is back in the room. Will the Clone Trooper helmet is back, and the Rex is up as well. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's all coming back. Don't worry. Now, we're going to do a little bit something different this episode. So, today's episode, we are going to be talking about
Anakin.
Yes, this whole episode, we are going to be talking about the Chosen One, the man himself, Anakin Skywalker. We're going to be talking about his whole turn. Now, I know if you're listening to this, you already know what he's done. But we're going to go over it for those who don't, and we're going to be talking about little details and facts and stuff that we find interesting and what we think about the characters change and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we're going to be having a good episode. What do you think?
Yeah. And he was the leader of the 501st, so
yeah.
Yeah.
We love Anakin. So we are going to start off with a little bit of news for you. We always do. And this time, we have some pictures. Have some pictures to see. So first thing we're going to say is at the... so basically, they just revealed a couple of official pictures of the Ahsoka series Lego sets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know a lot of people who are watching this are realizing we do talk about Lego quite a bit on this show, but that's the news, and so we have some pictures for you. And we also have one set that isn't from the Ahsoka series, but is really cool looking, and I think a lot of people are going to get this one, to be honest. So we're going to start off with the one that isn't Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. And that is Chewie. You can now get about to say full-size Chewie, but you can get a Chewbacca Lego figurine. Now, I believe this is the same series-ish as the Rex helmet, I think. Am I right?
Possibly, yeah.
It's similar.
Same kind of size box.
Yeah.
There comes a little miniature Chewie.
Oh, there he is, little Chewie. There he is again, and his little bowcaster. Little facts about him. This one will have 2,319 pieces. So a lot of pieces to keep you going, so you know what you're building. You definitely aren't going to be doing this in 5 minutes, I don't think. But
it's a lot of time to build that fluff.
Yes.
The walking carpet.
But yeah, what do you think about this one?
I think it's quite cool. Like some of these character ones, I don't know, they look a bit like they don't look like the actual thing, whereas I feel like that you look at it, it looks like Chewie, like it looks more in proportion and stuff. So yeah.
I like the little minifig touch that comes with it. It looks quite cool, I think.
It's kind of like the BD one or like the Grogu set where it comes with like the mini stuff.
I think it looks quite good. I don't think I'll be getting this set just because I'm not that personally invested in Chewbacca. But I think it's a nice set. I think it looks pretty cool. Any characters, would you like to see them do more sort of this size full characters instead of just the helmets and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be cool.
Yeah? You think they could pull that off?
Yeah.
All right, well, let us know what you think, if they should do...
Because I think they're coming out with like a Boba Fett one, aren't they, as well? So.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think you're thinking of the little mechanized figure that I was telling you about. So we got this one. So we have the New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati's Starfighter set. Now, looks a pretty cool set. Clearly, this is some sort of battle that we're going to see within the Ahsoka show. Minifig wise, I mean, there's Baylan and Shin, which I'd probably say a lot of people are going to try and get in their collection, I reckon. In terms of the rest, Morgan's in it as well. And then we've got a blue and yellow astromech. Does look pretty cool. And we've got a new Republic fighter.
I see some stickers.
Yep.
Those are really fun.
Now, I don't know about you, but Shin's Starfighter looks very much like an N1 Starfighter.
I was thinking that. It's very similar.
It's very similar design. You can clearly see that they've taken aspects of the design for it. I'm looking forward to seeing this in the show. Probably more than the E-Wing, I reckon. I mean, the E-Wing looks okay. Looks like it's going to be a fun build in terms of set-wise. But for me, no. I would probably only get this set for Shin and Baylan, in my opinion. Maybe the astromech as well. He does look pretty cool. But I still think that'd be quite a fun set. I reckon that could be one for couples and all that.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The other one of the other ones that we haven't got a picture for is because we shown it last week with the ghost and that. Yeah. But we know that one. So then this is the other one. It is Ahsoka's Jedi Starfighter. Now, from the photos I've seen, I believe the wings turn, and I think that little gear bit there indicates that you can fully turn it so it's in flight. But I think having it upright is going to be an absolute nightmare to display, unless you've got like a proper little display for it.
It's a bit like the Bad Batch set where it's like massive with the wings out. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Have it.
I have the same because of the space.
Yeah. The Sabine figure looks really cool.
The set itself, the ship itself, to start with, I think looks quite a nice build with the little double layer sort of top and bottom. I think that might be a nice set. I might consider getting that one, possibly. Yeah. Again, what you just mentioned, the minifigs with this, I think look really good as well. So you've got obviously Sabine with the green lightsaber, the Mando blast, well, the little Lego blasters, and her Mando helmet. Now, I don't know if you ever remember these. Do you ever remember the old Playmobil knights, like old knights? Do you know what I mean? Like the Playmobil, they had like visor up.
I think so.
That's what I'm getting from this Inquisitor look here. He looks like one of the old Playmobil medieval knights, shall we say? But he does look pretty cool. It's quite cool to see a Inquisitor lightsaber, in my opinion, for Lego. And we've got Hu Yang on the end. Again, probably a figure that people are going to want. I think with this set, the majority of people are going to go for the figures, I think, instead of the actual Lego build, shall we say. But looking at Ahsoka as well, I did see a video on this, and someone mentioned she's got actual arm markings, and she's got like clear, that actually like see-through lightsabers, and she's got like a headpiece and that. So again, this is probably gonna be a very, shall we say, sought after set.
She's gonna be popular, I think.
She's gonna be a popular figure, I think. And can you imagine when this set retires, all these figures they're gonna go up in price. Now this next one, it's it's not the most exciting, but Funko revealed their San Diego Comic-Con, because that's what's going on in a minute. They revealed their 2023 Funkos, and sadly, there's only two. There's like a soda version of Vader, but there's only one, shall we say, new figure Funko, and that is Wicket with slingshot. Now, obviously, I've got Wicket with the spear, and I think I prefer the spear one to the slingshot. I mean, yeah, the figure's pretty much the exact same. The pose that he's in is almost the same, but
does your other one, is he showing the teeth?
Oh
yeah, he does.
Yeah. So it's basically it's the same figure, I think, but they've changed it a bit. So they've got a variant of him.
Yeah.
I
think it's still quite cool.
I mean, yeah, it's cool and cute.
It's not like a shiny one or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd had like the Chief Ewok or something for something completely different instead of just another variant of Wicket like that, or maybe the one with the little baby one, in the basket.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Just something different, change it up a bit.
Yeah. Also, like, because this was like the only Star Wars Funko that was like exclusive to that event as well. Like, they could have done a couple more.
I know. Well, this is
one.
But this is the only one that they revealed. Is in like new release Funkos, and normally you get a couple of Star Wars ones, and especially with Ahsoka coming up like next month, I would have liked to have seen maybe one or two. I'm not asking for like spoilers in terms of the Funkos, but yeah, do it a little bit better. Now, just going on to something else that is, shall we say, new. Well, you showed me this, didn't you? So I got to be honest. These are what what Chloe decided to, or what you found, shall I say?
Yes.
So I'll let you talk about this one.
So if you guys didn't know, like the brand Hot Toys, they're quite expensive, but they're really high quality like figures. And they have many Anakins, but this year they released this one. Well, it's not out yet, but they've just released pictures of it this week, and it's got like actual rooted hair rather than like sculpted hair. So as you can see, it looks very realistic.
But the face detail as well.
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
Like, you would not think that's a figure.
I mean, that is aren't they all handcrafted as well?
Yeah, I think so. Because they paint on like little skin textures and things like that.
I mean, that's crazy, is it?
Yeah.
Like, to think that someone's been able to just make that.
Yeah.
Is insane.
So cool.
I almost wish I had a hot toy of myself.
Yeah.
I'd be quite freaked out, to be honest, but I'd love one. Look at it, like.
But it's just like.
Because this is the thing. Like, if you look, you can see like the indents, like around the eyes. You can see like the like. This is just incredible work, and yes, they are super expensive, and yes, I probably won't be getting them because they are way too out of budget. But wow,
you got to take your house.
Yeah, you just got to admire them. Like, I would love to go to someone's house and be like, oh my god, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I would be one of those people like looking at it like super close, looking at the details on it. Like, wow.
So cool.
Very cool. So that's basically it for all of that. but we do have some other news, shall we say. So obviously, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, it is San Diego Comic-Con, which is undoubtedly probably the biggest Comic-Con in the world, where a lot of films and shows get revealed. Obviously, this year, because of the strikes going on, a lot of stuff isn't being revealed, which is a little bit sad. But obviously, we totally understand why, and we support the writers and the actors on strike, because at the end of the day, this is a living. You got to do better, guys, in upper management, shall we say. But yeah, so at San Diego Comic-Con, they have the Star Wars Pavilion. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of it. Star Wars Pavilion. Now, I have seen we've seen a video, didn't we? We saw it earlier today. So we saw a video on the pavilion and what's there. And it's basically all Ahsoka stuff that is being used in the film show. So there's Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka outfit that she wears. There's her on-screen lightsabers. There's there's Sabine Wren's helmet, like Mandalorian helmet, which I'm telling you now, you can put a bet on this one. Like, I'm just telling you, Black Series will be making a helmet of that one. I'm sure of it. Yeah. They've done Mando, they've done Bo-Katan, they've done Boba, they've done them all. I'm telling you now, there will be a Black Series Sabine Wren helmet. There's also the mock-up model, the model of Ahsoka's Jedi starship. Looks pretty sick. They've got Shin and Balin's lightsaber hilts. Now, very interestingly, I made this point, didn't I? Shin's lightsaber hilt at the top is very similar to Cal's lightsaber hilt with the top bit, the default one, with the two bits that come up at the top.
Is it Shin's or is it Sabine?
No, it's Shin. Is it Shin? No, sorry, Shin. You're right. Sabine's lightsaber hilt. My apologies. Sabine's lightsaber hilt is very similar to Cal's at the top. But then, yes, Shin and Balin's lightsabers were there. Both look pretty simple. I know it sounds a weird word for a lightsaber hilt, but that's what I got the vibe for them. They weren't like complicated with lots of different designs. It was pretty much, Balin's was probably 3/4 just a solid grip.
The top looked quite unique as well.
Yeah, the top had the little sort of spike bits, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like smaller versions of Revan's bits in it. But they both look pretty cool. They had was it the cat? Loaf cat. So they had one of those, which looked pretty cool. You also had some concept art stuff, and obviously Chopper was there, because you can go wrong with Chopper being, I like Chopper.
And they had the wall there that was at Celebration.
Yes, the Rebels.
Yeah, the Phoenix Squad.
Yeah. Rura's joined chat. Hey, Sabine's got Ezra's lightsaber. Yes, she does. We're just talking about the display at Celebration at the Star Wars Pavilion. Celebration. See, you got me saying San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con and the Star Wars Pavilion that they got there with all the displays. So yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan and you've got yourself to San Diego Comic-Con, and then he said Celebration again, get yourselves to San Diego Comic-Con and let us know and enjoy the little collection that they have there for you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. It's been I know it's been a bit of a chunk, but we thought you guys would enjoy. So, would you like to start us off on today's topic?
So today we are going to be talking about Anakin.
Yeah.
So all things Anakin. His turn to the dark side. Just everything. Everything Anakin.
And I will just start this off by saying I have met him. I have met Anakin. So I just had to put that out there in case someone was listening. Just had to let it out there that.
Yes. Wow. I hope to meet him someday.
You. I'll get you there. So, where would you like to start on Anakin?
Well, should we start from the beginning? So, obviously, Anakin's born. There's no dad. So, we were talking about this earlier. Like, we don't quite know who manipulated the Force to bring Anakin to Shmi, whether it was Palpatine or Darth Plagueis. So you guys will, after that, know what you think, because it's never really explained, is it? It's just Shmi's there with this boy on Tatooine, and then I think it's Qui-Gon that says to her, like, "Who's the father?" And then she's like, "There was no father." And you're like, how did this boy appear then?
Sounds very like Jesus.
So yeah. And then so obviously we're in episode 1. So he's a little boy on Tatooine doing his little racing with his pod racers. And then obviously Qui-Gon and Kenobi are there. They realise that he has a high midichlorian count and is essentially taken away from his family to become a Jedi because he is the chosen one and he doesn't really have a say in it. So, yeah.
Keep going. This is all this interesting.
So, and then obviously Padme meets him. I think in episode 1, their relationship is a bit kind of strange because she is a lot older than him. I can't remember the actual amount of time, like distance between them. I think it's like 9 or 10 years or something. So she's quite a bit older than him. Obviously she's queen and he's just this little random kid on Tatooine. But he gives her the necklace and stuff, and he's really sad about leaving his mum. And then it kind of moves on to episode 2, doesn't it? So then
just want to say, Rural has put, in my opinion, it was the Force that the will of the Force that brought him into it. What do you think about that one?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was the Force, but we don't know if someone used the Force on Shmi to like make that happen. Maybe it could have been like the Mortis people.
Possibly.
Like the dad or something.
It could be. I don't think it's a question that we'll ever find out, to be honest, in my opinion.
Unless you force George Lucas to come up with something. I mean, I'm sure George Lucas probably has something in his head that, how Anakin was born. But, yeah, like you say, maybe it's just influence from Jesus. So anyway, moving on to episode 2. So you've got Anakin, he's a lot older, so he's not seen Padme in 10 years. He's been learning with Kenobi, who's still kind of learning himself how to be a Jedi, because obviously the original plan was Qui-Gon to teach the Chosen One. But then, after everything that happened at the end of episode 1, that clearly couldn't happen. So Kenobi's just there, and he's, taking Anakin under his wing, even though he still doesn't know everything. So yeah, then they meet Padme again. Padme sort of falls in love with him, but doesn't confess it straight away. So then obviously Anakin starts having his nightmares of his mother. So he decides, right, I'm going to go to Tatooine and I'm going to check up on her just to check that she's okay. And obviously he gets there and then he sees the state of his mother and notices that all these visions he's been having were true. And, obviously she hasn't seen him in ages. So she's just like, you're so handsome. And then he's just there like, don't die on me, mother. And obviously then she sadly passes away, which fuels him with the dark side, shall we say. Maybe like the first kind of bit of the dark side that he's got in him. And obviously takes out all his anger on the Tusken Raiders.
But not just the men.
Not just the men. The women and the children too. So, yes. Takes all of his anger out on them. Which do we think was right? I don't know. I mean,
I think we'll come to that in a minute when we start to actually talking about the little bits that.
I don't quite think. Oh, hang on. Rose just put something. He's put. Funny enough, had Attack of the Clones audiobook in my ears yesterday. We do love it. I love Attack of the Clones. I think it's one of like the most hated Star Wars films, but I disagree, and I think it's like one of my favourites. So, anyway, so he's taken out his anger on the Tusken Raiders, which, in Book of Boba Fett we started to like them, but I've always hated them because of that scene.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. So anyway, then he comes back to Padme. She's there talking to him in the blue milk, and he's just there like, I killed all these people. But she's not fazed by it, is she? So then,
Which is a little bit of a creepy. To me, that's a bit of a. For me, if that was my partner, and they just told me that, I would be a bit like, hang on a minute, that's a bit of a red flag. But hang on, what's going on here? What's going on here?
I know, especially the kids. Like, what? Just take out on the adults. Anyway, I suppose he didn't want anyone coming after him if he just killed the mum and all the kids grew up and they go after Anakin. Anyway, so then what happens? So he obviously has like the funeral with his mum. And then he gets the call that like Kenobi's on Geonosis, he's in trouble, all this. So then Padme's like, look, I'm going to save Kenobi, so you're either coming with me or you're not. So then they go to Geonosis, the droid factory. Then they get caught by Jango Fett eventually. And at that point, Padme confesses her love to Anakin, and he's just like, what? Anyway, so then they have the battle on Geonosis. Anakin fights Dooku at the end. Ends up getting his arm chopped off. Like, here, I think. So, this is always made me, like, laugh at the end when Padme comes in and she, like, hugs him, but obviously he's only got one arm. So, if that was me, I'd be like, what happened to your arm?
For me, a funny thing that I do quite like about that scene is the fact that they're trying to keep this all hush-hush.
Yeah.
And she just comes running over. There's Yoda there, there's Kenobi there, there's clones there. She just comes running over, doesn't call him like anything other but Anakin.
Yeah.
Gives him a massive hug, and Kenobi's there, stood there going, okay. Just like, okay, what about me? I'm like bit of pain myself here, Padme.
Oh, yeah.
So a bit interesting.
Yep.
Ruru has put. And if you want to hear my thoughts on Attack of the Clones, I'm a co-host to my friend Jeff on the Blue Milk Cafe podcast this Saturday. We're talking about what we remember back when we saw it on our first time.
Ooh.
Which is quite interesting.
Cool. Yeah. Oh,
what do you remember about it the first time that you watched it?
First time that I watched Attack of the Clones?
Yeah. Something that... Just one thing that stood out to you.
Well, Battle Geonosis. That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
And also Django and all the clones.
Yeah.
Because before I watched that, like, I didn't really understand how like Boba was Django's son. But then they're like the same person. So yeah, it kind of explained all that, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say. Anyway, so yeah, so then she runs over to Anakin, all this, and then obviously at the end it's their famous wedding scene, and instead of exchanging rings, I guess they exchange droids. So Padme ends up with C-3PO, and Anakin ends up with R2-D2. Yeah, which I think definitely came in handy during the Clone Wars for him.
Yes, I think if Anakin had C-3PO with him during the Clone Wars, I don't think Anakin would have survived the Clone Wars. I think it would have been a matter of I can't take it anymore. I got.
Also, another thing that you were saying, like how Padme and Anakin are like trying to hide their relationship or whatever. The time where he's on like that, I can't remember what they're called. They look like rhinos, and he's like riding it along in Geonosis, and she jumps all the way from the top of this pillar all the way down, which I'm surprised she didn't get hurt. But anyway, she gets on that and then like hugs him and kisses him, like in front of everyone else.
I think they were a little bit busy trying to.
Yeah, true. They're all like battling, but imagine if they looked up for a second. Anyway, so yeah, then moving on to
Clone
Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and all that. So,
what's your favourite Anakin arc in the Clone Wars?
Ooh.
Anakin arc, not like the 501st, not Kenobi, not like Ahsoka. What is your favourite Anakin arc?
Oh, I know. The one with Clovis.
Clovis arc.
When he comes into the room and he sees Clovis making a move on Padme, and then he just comes in and just beats him up. Padme's like, Anakin, what are you doing? And then like a bunch of the guards are outside the door. They're like, Miss Amidala, what is wrong? What is happening? Or whatever. And she's like, come in the room. And then they try and make out that someone like broke through the window and was beating up Clovis. And it wasn't Anakin.
I think my favourite is going to be the Mortis arc.
Yeah, I was going to say that one as well.
I think that's my favourite Anakin arc. But I think like a close second, I'm going to say, you know, the arc where it's with when Anakin, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka basically becomes enslaved with Rex. And Anakin becomes like the Queen's, shall we say, or like slave protector, something like that. I thought that whole arc was really interesting because obviously Anakin's been a slave. He hates them with like really a passion. Yeah. And I think it was just an interesting arc, in my opinion, seeing Anakin, because at the start he started by flirting with the Queen, and it was very much like, okay, this is very interesting why he's doing it. But then, Mortis arc, seeing him basically turn to the dark side.
Yeah, and like you could see like what he was being shown, like his future and that, and then at the end it was like this massive Darth Vader helmet.
The rules just put the Cadova arc is the one.
Cadaver. I think that's the arc that you're talking about, with the queen and the slaves and that.
Yeah.
There's like a scene that they've made exactly the same to the scene in Return of the Jedi with Luke and R2, but in the Clone Wars it's Anakin and R2, where Anakin sort of salutes to R2.
Oh yes.
And then the lightsaber shoots out from the top of his head, and then he grabs it.
Yeah.
Same in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool because it was like father, like son, and the same droid.
Well, it was clear. It was a clear nod, wasn't it? So.
Yeah. I really like that. If you couldn't tell. So I don't know where to carry on because Clone Wars is so much to it.
It's not just a lot to the character. As
yeah.
I know a lot of people just know him really from the films. Not people haven't watched the shows. In my opinion, you've got to watch the Clone Wars because you understand the character of Anakin more. You see that because you see him in the third film and a bit in the second film, but he is sort of very, I'll do my own thing, and
Yeah.
But in the show, we see this is just normal for Anakin to, and that's how he becomes known to the Separatists and the Federation, like with the battle tactics and that, like we see it with, with Trench and that. It's like he's like, oh, okay, this is Anakin. This isn't just a normal Jedi tactic. Does his own thing and it works for him. And very interesting character as a whole, in my opinion. My favourite.
Yeah.
It
wouldn't be the Skywalker saga without Anakin.
Exactly. And we call it the Skywalker saga because it is basically Anakin's
his son,
saga.
His daughter, and their mates.
And then mates. But yeah, it is the Skywalker saga, and would Star Wars be the same without Anakin?
No.
But
yeah, I agree with what you're saying about like the animated series and stuff. Like lots of people I know don't watch them because they are animated, but once you sort of get past the kind of concept that they're animated, it really brings so much more to the story, obviously because it's all canon as well. Like it makes a bridge between the second and third film. Like you find out so much more, and like it's not such a jump, Yep.
And I think as well, I know we've mentioned it on previous episodes as well, but the fact that they managed to do 7 series of the Clone Wars and have Anakin not meet General Grievous for one line in the Revenge of the Sith.
General Grievous. You're shorter than I expected.
It's like, how? This guy must have seen so many videos of him. And, I just thought that was really clever how they done that. And, it's not to be honest, and from what we know, it's not the end of the Anakin Skywalker saga because he's returning. Hayden's returning in Ahsoka.
Yep.
And we don't know what form this is going to take. Is this going to take flashbacks? Maybe Clone Wars flashback? Maybe Force Ghost? Maybe like a vision, because obviously to do with like the daughter and the son of Mortis. Maybe maybe one of them's gonna portray themselves as Anakin to Ahsoka. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, because remember when Anakin saw like his mum and stuff, and he's like, "You're dead. What? Why am I seeing you?" Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be quite an interesting thing to see.
So yeah, guys that haven't seen Clone Wars yet because you think it's animated, definitely watch it because all of these shows are coming out. Like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, stuff like that. There's people like Cad Bane or Bo-Katan and things like that people haven't seen unless you've seen the animated shows. So definitely give them a try.
It's like Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka as well.
Turns up in The Mandalorian and everyone's like, if you haven't seen the animated series, you're like, who is this?
Yeah,
who's this character?
Yeah.
She's a
Jedi. All the
Jedi.
people from Rebels as well. Like, it is a lot to watch. There's obviously 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and then you've got Bad Batch, and you've got
2 seasons of Bad Batch, 4 seasons of
Star Wars Rebels, yeah. But they're definitely worth a watch. Because then you'll know more about the characters and stuff. And yeah, obviously, like, when I first watched the Clone Wars at cinema when I was like 7, like the movie, I was a bit unsure on Anakin having a Padawan because he's never had a Padawan. I was thinking, what? This doesn't make sense because she wasn't around in Revenge of the Sith or anything. But once you get into it, there are certain things in the Clone Wars that give Anakin more reason to turn to the dark side. You know, things like him training Ahsoka, like having his own Padawan, being a master, and then in Revenge of the Sith not being granted the rank of master. Like, you kind of understand why he hated like the Jedi Order and stuff towards the end. Like, I think possibly even if he didn't have the visions of Padme, like maybe he would have eventually left them, like if they were still kind of around. So yeah, I feel like there's certain aspects in the animated shows that definitely bring like so much more to his character. So yeah.
Now I can't remember what comic it is, but there is a Legends comic, shall we say? You know, not canon, where Anakin, as a young Padawan, wants to leave the Order. Like, he has a chat with Palpatine, realizes he's not sure if this is for him, and he basically gives his lightsaber to like Kenobi. He's like, I'm leaving, you know. And this is him as like a young kid, Anakin. So even though this isn't canon, that whole part of him at that young age not being sure this is what he wants, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is very interesting in my opinion, that, you know, he was happy to leave at such a like young age, really. Now I know he he joined the Order later than most, you know, regular Jedi because he was older, but still, you know, there was always conflict in him in terms of, is this the right thing for me? I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, there's definitely conflict because obviously, like, it's not an easy decision. You think, oh, am I doing the right thing? Because the Jedi are seen as like the good people, and the Sith are always like frowned upon. You know, they're using their hatred and they're selfish rather than selfless, that kind of thing. So I don't think it'd be something you think is right at first.
Well, something that I've always found very interesting is after he chops off Mace Windu's arm, and then he goes, what have I done?
What have I done?
I find it interesting how he went from what have I done to being like, I'll serve you, master. Just, you know, he went very quickly from feeling like regret almost to being like, okay, I'm no longer Jedi. I'm like, Sith.
I think there's definitely like certain bits that made him turn to the dark side. So it's like, obviously the Tuscans, but that wasn't anything to do with the Jedi or anything like that. And then the fight in Revenge of the Sith with Count Dooku, where he has the 2 sabers like by his head, and then Palpatine goes, do it. And he's like, and he does it, but straight away after he's like, I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way. And then he's like, you told me, remember you told me what you did with the Sand people and all that. You hear it, isn't which I think is a cool touch. But anyway, so stuff like that. Then obviously, him trying to save Padme's life because he's had this vision and he doesn't want to happen. He doesn't want it to become a reality like it did with his mother. So that's his main fear. And then he's being told by Palpatine, like, look, if you turn to the dark side, I can save your wife. So that's kind of turning him that way. And then obviously if you guys watch the Clone Wars and stuff, you find out a lot more about the clones and him leading the clone army and going on all these different missions and being a general and helping out the Jedi so much. And then, you know, having the chat with Mace Windu where he goes, you're not granted the rank of master. You know, after he's led a clone army, he's trained Ahsoka to be a Jedi. You know, he's helped out them no end. He's on the council, but, you know, I guess because of his age, Mace Windu doesn't want him on. But he just classes it as an insult because he sees himself almost higher than Kenobi. But they're like holding him back. So he doesn't like that. They're holding him back. He doesn't like he's not been granted the rank of master. He wants to save Padme. He doesn't agree with all their ways. And yeah, and then obviously it ends up him battling Kenobi. So, you know, Kenobi was once his best friend, you know, his mentor. He was like a brother to him. And, you know, all of a sudden, Kenobi's had to go and fight his own Padawan, essentially. Which I've heard that fight would have been Ahsoka. But I don't know, that's just rude. Anyway, so he's fighting his master, essentially, on Mustafar. So it just goes to show, like, after the whole, when Palpatine goes, like, you shall be known as Darth Vader and all this, and he's like, I'll do anything you ask. At that point, he is not Anakin anymore. Like, it's like someone's put a mask over him and he's Darth Vader now, because before that point, he would have never fought Kenobi, you know? And also, obviously, Padme comes along and he thinks that she's brought Kenobi there to kill him and all this. Also, there was speculation that Kenobi and Padme were going to be kind of like having a thing.
Well, that's what the visions were. Because apparently the whole vision story, you know, of him with Obi-Wan going, don't give up, Padme. One of the visions that was basically cut, and was the whole point of it.
So they changed it.
Yeah, it was going to be that Anakin saw that those two were a thing in these visions, and that's why when he's like because of Obi-Wan, you know, that she's changed, and you know, and so that's why I thought it was quite interesting. But I feel like I'm glad that they took that vision out, because it's almost like Anakin would have almost clearly known that they wouldn't have done that because it's not Kenobi. But I do think it was an interesting that, you know, part of that story bit was still kept in with like the vision and him being like, Obi-Wan was here earlier, wasn't it? You know, like, so. Yeah,
there's definitely hints of that. So I think that thought alone in his mind was kind of the last straw, him being like, right, I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to beat him. I'm going to be more powerful. Like, no one's here to hold me back anymore, kind of thing. So at that point, Anakin's kind of deep hidden away somewhere. And he has I would say probably the most iconic fight in all of Star Wars, which is the battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar.
I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's the best. And then obviously Obi-Wan ends up winning, chopping his arms and legs off, and he's there burning in the lava, which I feel like only fueled him with more rage, because now he's realised, look, I've lost to my own master or whatever, because obviously Obi-Wan is a bit more wise, I think. So yeah, and then Obi-Wan leaves him there, takes his lightsaber away, and he completely hates him and hates everyone, and yeah. And then obviously the only bit of good left in his heart was being like, right, Padme is, I'm gonna be with Padme or whatever. So then the whole Vader transformation scene, he kind of gets risen up, and one of the first things he asks Palpatine is, where is Padme? Is she safe? Is she alright? And I think that's the last bit of like Anakin and him screaming out, being like, she's going to make me okay again. And then Palpatine saying, basically blaming Anakin for killing Padme, being like, in your anger, it seems you've killed her. And then he's just lost everything. In the matter of a few hours, he's lost everything. He's not a Jedi anymore. He's lost his best friend. He's lost the majority of his body. He's been burned alive. He's literally lost everything. He's lost his wife and his droid, R2, and he just obviously does the infamous no at the end. So yeah, and then the rest of his life, he's just this person that's living basically in sadness because he's lost everything, and he blames himself for everything, even though it was kind of Palpatine's manipulation, which so it's technically not his fault. I think it's more.
I think there was still a bit of Anakin left in him in the Kenobi battle, in the Kenobi series, when the final battle, and Kenobi strikes him, reveals his face. I personally feel when he says to Kenobi,
Anakin is gone.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. And he's like, you didn't kill. Okay. I feel like when he says that little bit, I feel like that's still Anakin, was, like, I'm not your failure. Like, it's Anakin being like, almost apologizing in a weird way, where he's like, I'm not your failure. You're not the one who killed Anakin. And then it's like, all of a sudden the Vader comes back. It's like, I did. And then, and he's got the sort of red light on him now. And it's like, Vader is now back, because he's like, and then the students straight away, it's like, and I'm going to do the same. Yeah. So I feel like there was clearly some, and then obviously when he finds out about Luke.
Overall, just put Anakin also lost what he thought was one unborn child. Very true.
Yeah, because
obviously Padme was what they thought was one child, ended up being twins.
Yeah.
So he thought, he's killed Padme, Padme's dead, the child's dead, but then finds out about Luke in is it New Hope, where Palpatine goes, this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker.
That's Empire.
He said, this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, and he's like, how is the
But he finds out about who the guy was before. No, because he finds out about Luke and his name before Empire.
Yeah.
Because he sends Boba and Boba finds out who it was and tells him his name is Luke Skywalker,
Mm.
and then Vader like cracks like the glass basically, and that's why he then goes on this hunt for Luke, because he's now like.
And I think like he senses him, doesn't he? Like every time in the Millennium Falcon, it's like.
Yeah. So that's basically the story of Anakin.
Yep.
Now, should we do Troopers of the Week?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So my Trooper of the Week this week is a bit of a funny clip, in my opinion. So he goes by the name of 3DL_printing, and he basically does like helmets. And he does a little comedy sketch bit where it says he's got himself wearing a Phase 1 helmet, right? Where he goes, Phase 1 is the best helmet in existence. You can't change my mind. And then he's wearing a Phase 2 helmet. And he's like, Phase 2 is the best. Like, don't worry. And then the door opens in slow-mo. And he's now wearing is it Neo? I think it's a Neo.
Yes. Yeah.
Wearing a Captain Neo helmet, and it says "some dude on a speeder bike."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I understand that, because a lot of people do think that is the best clone helmet, should we say? I mean, personally, I'm not that big of a fan on it, but I know a lot of people are. I'm a Phase 2 guy. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
so,
I think Phase 2 best.
But I thought the whole thing was very funny. So I'm definitely saying, giving him a shout out for making me laugh with that one.
Yeah. Okay, so my Trooper of the Week is someone I discovered the other day, actually. He's called Cam's Collector Pics. He does a lot of like figure pictures, or photography, should we say. So he's got lots of different ones. This one looks quite cool, with like all the 501st troopers. You've got like Jesse, Hardcase, the classic 501st. There's also another one where I just quite like the characters of his pictures. So like he'll have things going on in the background. So there's like someone that is riding on one of those
North Trooper, I believe it is.
Is it an ATST? No, ATRT. And then in the background he's got like wounded troopers that are just lying on the floor and things like that. I thought like his pictures have like a lot of character to them, which makes them more realistic and stuff. And he does like edits the lightsabers so they glow in and things like that. So I thought that was quite cool.
Nice. So rules question: Will's 501st contract as in Twitter versus Miss Chloe there too? No, Chloe, you don't have Twitter, do you?
I do have Twitter. I'd never go on it.
Oh. You basically use
but I'll go on it. Yeah. I'll answer your questions anytime. I'm more so on Instagram, art by Chloe. But yeah, I'll have a look on Twitter if you need any questions.
If you've got any questions, just message the 501st on anything. We want to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Now, this one, I said I would post it. I haven't made up my mind yet. If you guys find any more, let me know. But I did say that I was meeting Palpatine in November. And so I said I need a shirt. I need a shirt for Palpatine. And so Rural, I got to give him the credit, Rural found this one and sent me this one as a suggestion. Now,
I love it.
I quite like it. Is it going to be a finalist? I don't know. It depends on the other ones that I find and the other suggestions. If you find any more, let me know. And yes, Rural, I just wanted to give you a little shout out for this one because obviously you said, am I going to post it? Here it is.
Yes.
Again, I'm not confirming this is the one that I'm going to be buying and wearing, but
did make us laugh.
It did make us laugh, and it is definitely one of the ones that I'm considering.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Because the Nike's logo's like, just do it. And it's like, do it. I love it.
I think it's very clever. Very clever. And I think Ian would quite like that one.
Yeah.
As well. Now, so basically, we are gonna. We're gonna be ending the episode here, basically. But we are gonna be starting a new funny little thing at the end. You know, we used to do like Ship of the Week and stuff like that. So we're going to do something a little bit funny, a little bit light-hearted from now on to end this thing.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing Star Wars meme of the week.
Yes.
So we're going to be finding. So if you've got a funny meme, Star Wars related, send them to us, and we will pick one for
the meme of the week.
For the meme of the week.
Yeah.
And we will also make sure to post that meme on our socials, so you guys can check out meme of the week if you get round to it and follow us on there. Right? So this week's the first meme of the week, shall we say? Chloe found this one. So
I thought it was quite relevant to this episode as well with Anakin. But yeah, I found it the other day and I couldn't stop laughing.
Married, future father, general in the army of the Republic, on the Jedi Council, the strongest Jedi, versus Luke kissing his own sister. Now, I know this is all a bit of a joke, but for me, I think this is brilliant. It's definitely worthy of being the first meme of the week. And again, when it comes to the memes, we don't care how like obscure or funny they are. If it is a good Star Wars meme, send them to us and we will choose a meme of the week to show you guys. So yes, can't wait for that. Now, next week's episode.
Farm Boy just put, Luke never kissed Leia. Leia kissed him twice.
Still counts as a kiss. Now, so basically next week is going to be episode 66 of the Comchat. Now, we'll be very honest with you guys. We had some, I would say, big guests.
Some cool guests, yeah.
We had a couple of we had a couple of Vaders lined up. We had another one of like a cosplayer and someone doing his own story. Like, we had these guys, but because of the way the world works, they all cannot do it.
Can't do next week.
They cannot do it.
They're all away.
So next week is going to be quite relevant. Is going to be a whole Order 66.
Yeah.
Episode.
Episode 66. We've got to talk about Order 66.
The whole episode, me and Chloe will be talking about Order 66. Talking about Jedi that were killed in it, our favourite moments, most brutal moments. You know, everything to do with it, we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, we had people lined up, but due to personal circumstances and life, they can't make it with us. But we will be having them on in future episodes.
Yeah.
So do not worry. You're not like missing out. It's going to be still a good episode. And as Rural says, 66 is my favourite. So keep an eye out because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good episode, I think.
Yeah.
So
all things clones and Order 66.
So yeah, that's it from us today. We will see you next week, 6 o'clock as usual, unless something comes up.
6 o'clock and Order 66. Oh my God.
I like it. So yes, we will see you next week, and make sure to get in your Star Wars memes of the week, please. We want to see them. So yeah, from me, guys, may the force be with you. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yes. Yeah, may the force be with you, and Royal said long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire.